Okay, and again, you have two to page, so plenty of scribble room, and hopefully most of what else I'll be saying is going to be on the slide, so it'll just be the odd note that you need to add, hopefully, as previously. Okay, so yeah, innovation. So invention, you know, the creative process, that doesn't guarantee innovation. You know, if you accept this lower statement that, you know, innovation is basically about profitably exploiting inventions. So innovation is like, you know, a commercially screened inventive idea. Then, you know, it is really the reality check, because, you know, if you know, I could come up with an invention here today, I could say to you, oh, I've developed a new all singing, all dancing version of this ballpoint pen, and it'll only cost purchase of £250. Well, you said to me, well, that's just commercially totally not viable. So really, that's an invention, but a bit of a harebrained one, and one that should have never seen the light of day. You know, that's not an innovation. That is a you know, almost a waste of time and effort that I've put there. So, you know, we talked a lot in the previous sessions about screening of ideas, so that as you get them towards, as you put more and more of your time and effort into them, you put more and more money behind them, you know, you maintain and hopefully build your confidence in that product or service, that it is fulfilling a gap in the market, and that it is going to be a viable product or service, you know, in the longer term, sustainably, such that it will allow your business to grow and to flourish. And the profitability is, you know, is the essence of that. And so innovation management is again really a broad term, and arguably it goes, you know, beyond companies offering products and services. I mean, it applies to, you know, to charities and almost any organisation which provides some kind of output to users or beneficiaries. You know, there's an argument that says, you know, that innovation can apply to the output of many organisations. And, you know, I think when you think back to what you've learned right from the beginning of this Inspire course, you know, I think it'll be apparent that really the whole Inspire programme is really directed at innovation management, right from the very beginnings through to the point of creating something which is commercially viable and actually getting it out into the market. The whole thing is about managing invention to become innovation, commercially valid innovation. So previously, you know, I've tried to put in place various sort of tools and methods and calculations and rules of thumb and things like that, which will help you when you come up with a bright idea or a new possibility. You know, you've got the wherewithal there to think, okay, how does this fit against this grid of screening techniques that I have, and such that when things navigate their way through past that, and they get ticks rather than crosses as they go through this process, you know, you'll be, as I say, generating confidence and demonstrating the increasing levels of confidence in commercial viability. And you know, that, so it does run all the way through. So what I thought in this module, we'll turn the phrase around. So if I go back a couple, and so we said, so this is, if you like, if we say that this is our basic premise or description of innovation, what we're going to do here is we're just going to turn it round a little bit into this phrase. And so it's about creating and sustaining, you know, a profitable and healthy business through innovation. Let's look at it in that way. And so what we'll come on to shortly then is about the competitive environment, because you can't innovate in a vacuum. You need to understand the context within which you're trying to generate innovation that is commercially viable inventions. And so it is vital to, to actually put it in context, to understand why you're trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve, and what are the impediments which could come into your path, which might prevent or inhibit you from achieving sustainable, profitable activity. And this is an ongoing process, really. This idea of sustaining the viability, that almost defines it as being an ongoing process. You don't just do this at the point while you're into the initial process development, where you're doing a hands-on product development or service development. It continues after that, and we will talk about that a little bit more later. So it is really, it's a philosophy, really. It's a business philosophy, that you don't rest on your laurels. You understand the context of what it is you're trying to do. You accept that context will be shifting all the time as other service providers or other product developers move into the market or move out of the market. And so, what commercial viability, the structure of that, if you like, will shift a little bit as time and the competitive environment changes. And so it's important to keep tabs on it, which is why it is both not only while new but after products and services have been successfully launched. It is a philosophy. So, like most philosophies, you need sort of core principles, and this is no difference. And if a competitive environment is an abstract construct, unless you can ground it, unless you can provide it with some anchor points which make it relevant to you. And so what I'm suggesting is you use these three anchor points, which will allow you then to continually frame and test and challenge the status of your product or service within its competitive environment, to make sure that it's still viable, it's still attractive, it's still delivering profitability, and indeed so that you can see opportunities for innovation. And so, if we take these three basic fundamental questions as your core, and we'll come on to them a little more in a minute, then that will be a good way of grounding your business opportunity, your idea. It's a competitive environment. And if you want a bit of a kind of an analogy, you can imagine that it's only if you're in a sailing boat or whatever, it's only when you've decided where you're trying to navigate your way to, your destination, that you can start to then plot an efficient course to get there through the waves and currents and around the rocks and the islands and whatever it might be. Without deciding where you're going, you can't plot a course. You can't really quantify the effect of any obstacles or issues that may arise upon your ability to achieve your objective. So the analogy is reasonable, really. You need to know where you want to get to, so that you know what challenges you're going to face on the way. So yes, so picking back then, if you remember these three core vision elements we've got here. So we're just expanding on those a little on the next slide. So your idea, your vision for a business service or product is built around these fundamentals. So on the first one, you have to have a sustainable business. Really, you need to have a strong basis for addressing each of these three ideas. So the first one, what business are you in? So, and we can come on to deciding exactly what business you're in, and sometimes it takes you right back down to a fundamental idea of deciding what business you're in, because that can present other branches of opportunity that maybe you haven't considered. But you have the business that you're in is ideally one in which you have not just one, but a stream of novel ideas. Often, a a great idea will come either from a hobby or a strong interest or something which you're passionate about, because your brain is always, or very often is kind of thinking around that subject, you know, just as almost as a pleasurable activity. You know, it's something that you're interested in, you're engaged in, and so, you know, your brain's always ticking over on ideas. And very often, when your brain is ticking over on ideas, is when you actually come up with things. I mean, I used to go to pub quizzes a lot, and I actually got into a situation where I knew an answer, and I got to the point where I could just park it, and I knew that my brain would riffle its way through the filing system, and in about 5 minutes the answer would pop up. And I can't tell you why that happens. I'd stopped actively searching for it, but if you like, I'd given my brain knew it had a task to dig that bit of information out. And almost miraculously, 5 minutes later, the answer, the name of the individual and the picture quiz would just pop out. And you know, it's when you've got a fundamental interest or whatever, I'm sure that the brain is ticking away in the background, thinking about things. And sometimes an idea or a thought or a suggestion of another way will just pop into your consciousness. And I think this is the sort of subconscious brain ticking away in the background, you know, thinking about things that it's kind of tasked to do by your sort of rest of your interests. So, but fundamentally, you know, it's something which you have novel ideas, and not just one, but a stream of novel ideas, and in which either you or hopefully yourself and your team have got some fundamental capabilities, some very strong, basic capabilities which are, you know, absolutely, you know, associated and well correlated, if you like, with the idea that you've got, with the businesses that you've got, so that can help, that sort of core strength in yourself and your team can help you to differentiate your offer, to really, you know, build a very, it's the essence of being a quality or a premium provider. You know, is in that if you have that fundamentally strong core capability, you know, that's the essence of being a premium provider, or a top quality provider, or an utterly reliable provider of a product or a service.